exciting. Yo, Dave is busy in the code, and Meta Knights are busy in, in the creative mode. That to me is just exciting.
It's a good day, man. It's a good day.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, it's really exciting actually, and yeah, I think obviously we're getting ready to do the emissary drop, but beyond that, even we're looking at so many of the challenges involved in getting NFT to people's hands, and just really looking at how we can innovate in that space longer term going forward. So expect exciting things from us in the future in that regards.
Right. And what's the date of the drop?
Yeah, that's the most closely guarded secret in the metaverse right now.
Okay, I was thinking that, like it was out somewhere, and I'm like, maybe I'm asking a dumb question, and you're gonna be like, oh man, you could just go to the. I'm like, I've been seeing, but that's intentionally, strategically the way it is. I see what's happening. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I can say very soon. One thing we will definitely do is give our early registrants and mint pass holders an opportunity to process their mint passes and avoid the gas wars for at least 24 hours before we go public. So there will be good notice to all of our registrants in advance of that. And
okay. So I have a question for both of you, if I can remember the two. One is for Logic. I'm curious, do you know the situation with gas? Do you know what he's referring to? Because I know you're not deep in it.
Yeah, I do know that gas is I think like the expense or I guess like the payment that's associated with like minting. So like or is it like it refers to like transactions? So I know that there's certain times where it's like a lot higher, like the price that you're paying is higher than other times. If I'm correct.
That is true. So my question for Dele then is, if you could explain gas, I think you do a great job. And how does that in advance? How does that affect basically get around having the high gas price? Like, how's your drop planned in a way that mitigates that or helps with that? You with me, Dele? Dele's dropped out.
Oh. Probably shine back in.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
But I guess I don't know if the brother there, Black, may want to add on or Symbolic. I mean, like you can break down your aspect of what that looks like for you.
Yeah, man. So I'm sorry. I'm the worst at multitasking.
He's back. He's back.
Back. Okay, cool. Let me.
Yeah, I just added on the speaker part so he'd be able to jump in. There we go.
Okay.
There we go. Sorry, I don't know how I got cut off there. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me.
Oh, no, that's Twitter Spaces. Before I was hating. Road, huh? Twitter.
You're hating Clubhouse, did you say?
Oh yeah. No. I was hating on Facebook and IG, and I straight said they're trash, and I stand by that as much as I do use them. Like my brethren Logic says, I get on their bus and use it a little bit, but it's just to get to the destination. Twitter, I would not say they're trash. I kind of like Twitter. I'm down with Twitter, but Twitter Spaces still needs work. It's still, as they even have the term rugging, right? You got rugged when the whole room goes down and this and that. Sometimes people can't hear you. But anyways, so you did hear my question then, Dele? Can anyone hear me right now? Is Twitter like?
I can hear you. I'm just not sure if everybody's mics are on, if they're able to just add on to that.
Yeah, Dele, I see the mic.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll answer the question. But I was just saying, yeah, I did hear your point about Facebook, and that's one of my favorite. Well, it's let's call it an area of specialization on how twisted an organization they are. And I'll come back to your question just very quickly on that. Did you guys hear the announcement yesterday that Facebook is planning on changing their name?
I did hear about that. I did hear about that.
What's up
Yeah,
with that?
they're planning on rebranding because the brand has become so toxic that they're looking at basically how they can rebrand so that they can reassociate it. And people are already saying that that is similar to what Philip Morris did when they were facing so many lawsuits, and they changed their name to Altria so that they could kind of disassociate themselves from their toxic past.
Oh my God, that's not enough. Zuck, that's not enough. Change your name and be like,
So look, here's my joke on that. So I wrote in our Discord yesterday, which is a bit mischievous in truth, but I care. And it was like, here's my recommendation on what Facebook's new name should be. F-Airy. So Effery.
yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
It's like, you know, F everybody, F everything, and just effery, basically, completely all day, every day. So, no, I'm with you on that. But,
yeah. I was just gonna say, I would lean in and just say, yeah, fuckery. They're on some straight fuckery, like hardcore. I can't even censor it because we're talking about wedging themselves in between human engagements. By the way, in the initial times, tricking us, saying we're connecting the world, but really the business model is to wedge themselves in between our interactions and then sell our data, manipulate us. Oh my God, it's not good. It's straight fuckery. So anyways, I'm sorry. I will go off on Facebook and that whole tip whenever it comes to mind because, yeah. So sorry, go on.
No, absolutely. Look, I'm with you 100%. And that's a large, you know, I mean, they're a prominent feature indirectly, of course. But they're, you know, that's part of the inspiration for Meta Knights as a saga to really expose that and to expose how dangerous and insipid the whole Facebook ecosystem is to society. I mean, you know, where do you end with it now? To freedom, to democracy, to all of it. It's all at risk through Facebook.
Right.
But yes, to answer your question about mint passes and gases, so basically what it means by way of giving people the freedom to process their mint pass, they can basically look for a window when gas is at its cheapest and then process their mint pass at that point. So they have that window of time, and it would, like I say, it will be at least 24 hours, possibly more. And so over that period, they can basically look at early hours in the morning or wherever, whenever gas is low, and then process their mint passes. And that means then that they basically process the transaction. Whereas when it goes public, you know, people will just have to deal with the gas at the time and the amount that still remains. So, you know, it's a bit more of a race when it's a public sale where you just have to buy it while there's still availability, regardless of what gas prices are.
Right. And so now I'm curious to rewind back if you could tell us how you would describe gas. How would you describe that?
I mean, in simple terms, it's a good transaction fee. It's a fee that costs. It's a proof of work model that Ethereum is based on. It's kind of a bit of a victim of its own success in that regard. So, you know, when Ethereum was first created, gas fees were very low. Because Ethereum was very low in terms of its fiat conversion costs. But there is work that is done in minting blocks to the chain, and that work, the miners are compensated for that proof of work in gas in terms of ETH transactions which is basically gas for putting those blocks on the chain and validating those blocks.
Right. And logic.
So this is the whole reason for Ethereum 2.0. So Ethereum has two problems. One is in terms of the number of transactions per second that it can produce. So it's about 15, 17 transactions per second that Ethereum Classic can, or Ethereum Normal can, or Ethereum 1.0, I suppose, can do. Compare that to Visa or MasterCard that process 4,000 to 5,000 transactions per second. You can see that there's a strain in terms of the ability for Ethereum to process large volumes of transactions. And this is why when we have big NFT drops, gas prices hike, because it's like, like Uber's surge charge. It's dependent on the volume of traffic in the network. When there's a high volume of traffic, the gas fees go up. The miners charge more to process those blocks during those periods. And that's all a problem of the proof of work framework. And of course, there's a big environmental issue with it, because that processing is also it's linked to compute power and electricity that is used to facilitate that. So this is one of the reasons why there's been all this controversy about the ecological credentials of both Bitcoin and Ethereum, because they are first and second generation blockchains where proof of work is the standard validation framework. But as this is why Ethereum is moving towards two things: sharding to increase the transaction performance, and then proof of stake, because proof of stake doesn't require this complex problem solving that is in the proof of work model, but it's more about stakers putting their money basically against the validation of a node, and if that node is found to be erroneous, they lose their money. So it's moving to a financial proof model rather than an energy or processing compute model.
Nice. Yo, if I can, I'm just gonna reset the room and say, I'm here symbolic here with Logic.
Big up, peace.
Yeah, Sankofa digital community for digital innovation. I don't know if I got that. Yeah, basically the bottom line is we're talking about culture and, our people, and how at this point in time, like learning in terms of where we are in the varying different, stages of evolution, as well as, what the possibilities are envisioning the future. And we're super, super blessed and fortunate that that Meta Knights, Dele actually, the founder of Meta Knights, is in the house with us, and so we will keep it just like one part in the deep end, but then we'll wade back. And I think one great way that we can wade when you are in the place, and by the way, you're always welcome to hang with us, because one, you bless us with great explanations as to what is what these possibilities are, where we are, as well as you're doing amazing stuff with Meta Knight. So like for the people in the place, okay, I see that I don't see the whole word Mandalo. Let me hit it so I can Mandalorian time. Oh, with the Ankh in the symbol. Are you
Yes.
Why don't you come say hi? And I'm gonna invite Zion to say what up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, what's going on, family? Yeah, man. Shoot, I just seen the Sankofa, and I'm from America, so I know what that is. Because you never forget where you come from. And I was interested. Like, so do y'all got like NFTs and everything right now for this group?
Yo, Redfish, you are in the spot. We're just warming up. We're just warming up, but we got Meta Knights. This is one of the most exciting NFTs to be out in terms of our people on a holistic level, on the side of the story that's involved, that's already pre-existing. So I invited Zion to come say what up, but if you could give us give Dele, if you tell us what is Meta Knights, could you Could you give that info for us?
Of course, absolutely. So, I mean, Meta Knights essentially is a Afri-futurist cyberpunk saga on the battle for the soul of the internet and the soul of the metaverse. Started in 2018. We minted it on the blockchain. So we're the world's first crypto comic, and we minted.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. It cut out
in 2019. Back in those days, NFTs weren't. They were very kind of narrowly understood by a small clique of people. But we saw there was a big future in crypto media and using NFTs to distribute media. So we launched the project on the basis of doing that. There's a lot, I mean, I can talk a lot about the background and the history and the business in that sense, but I'll talk a bit more about the story itself. The story is basically, we call our elevator pitches, think the Matrix meets Mr. Robot on the road to Wakanda. And that essentially is, the arc of the story is that there's a physical world and there's a digital world. And the physical world is interlinked with the digital world. And in that digital world, we have these clan of cyber vampires. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry,
can you?
Yeah, we got you.
Out for some reason. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crystal clear.
1 second.
It's cool. Take your time. I'll just take this moment to let you know. I posted in the what is that? What's that called? Up at the top, you can click through and you can see some of the Meta Knights, some of the tweets. For example, some of the characters are now released. Everyone used to be silhouetted, so there was a lot of curiosity and mystery in the Black NFT and general NFT space. Like, what's this going to look like? So now we see one of the characters we can actually see. But not only that, if you see the second one that I posted farthest to the left regarding the funds that have been raised, which I gotta say, for a black project, I love to see that. But while still being something, in terms of the subject matter that you're discussing right now. So yeah, if you're ready to continue, please do.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. My system, my AirPods in the wall keep dropping. But yeah, so where did you guys lose me?
Okay. Wait, what was the last thing now? I feel like you could just pick a middle spot and everything's
okay. Afro-futurist cyberpunk saga. Matrix meets Mr. Robot on the road to Wakanda.
That's the part we're about to say. I think that's the part. So.
Okay, yeah, so our basic summary, our elevator pitch, we could say it's like the Matrix meets the Robot on the road to Wakanda. And I was just emphasizing, and I'll talk about the story. I can talk about the project more broadly, but the core story, and it really ties into what we were talking about with Facebook and the like before, because basically the story is that there's a physical world and there's a digital world, and these worlds are intertwined. And the principle is that we as individuals, we have a physical self, we have a mental self, and we have a digital self. But our digital selves live in this digital world called Digiterra in the story, and the physical world is called Terra. Now, in both Terra and Digiterra, we have these big corporate conglomerates that have band together. And in the digital world, they're actually cyber vampires who suck people's data in the digital world so that they can enslave them across the physical and digital world. And the Fangs are basically at war for control of the digital world with the Bats. The Fangs are in the West, the Bats are in the East, and they're both racing to create a supercomputer, a super AI, because they believe whoever creates that first will get control of the digital world and will have control over both realms forever. So the Meta Knights are basically a group of freedom fighters who are fighting against this Fang control. And they are sprung out of a group called the Cypherpunks that are led by Satoshi. So Satoshi leads the first war against the FANGs in terms of establishing a decentralized framework and Bitcoin to overcome the FANG centralized money monopoly and data monopoly, more so, and the Meta Knights are kind of born out of that. And they are, on one hand, fighting to liberate the world from FANG control. But on the other hand, they're also working to bring a new kind of AI forward that is human-centric and that is life-centric. And they are, an important point as well, the Meta Knights themselves are all African, and they are, how can I put it? They are inspired and coordinated in a sense by this ancient order of priests, the Digitarian priesthood. So we tie back into a lot of ancient African mythology and whatnot in our story as we plot it forward. So I'll pause there.
That's amazing.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. All I can say is, man, you know, not to cut you off, my brother. I trade Forex, you know what I'm saying? So I got a big space, you know what I'm saying, for NFTs and stuff. So I definitely can spread some information about this. That's dope.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get that. Can you repeat that?
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Now I was saying I trade Forex, you know what I'm saying? So I'm in this community where, you know, we all getting into like NFTs and everything. Like we got portfolios and stuff. I haven't bought my first NFT yet, but I'm definitely interested, you know what I'm saying, in participating in this community right here. So you know, I don't know if I gotta join or something, but you know, if I gotta join, let me know how I need to do that.
Yeah, okay, well, before I'm gonna let Dele Meta Knights give you the info, but my brother, I would urge you to do a couple of things. Have you heard of Black NFT art or African NFT community?
I can't say that I have to be particular. I've seen things like it, but I can't say that, you know, that title for, you know what I'm saying, directly.
Okay, Joe. Well, the parent company of Black NFT art is Umba Daima. I'm a rep with Umba Daima, so I'm gonna big them up. But I became a rep because I bigged them up so much. I would not have found Tayo, who's an amazing artist in the NFT space, who definitely is worth collecting. Tayo is a part of Meta Knights, and that's a part, as well as David, Bit Gallery on Twitter, as a coder as a part of Meta Knights. But that stream came from finding Black NFT art. So if you go on, make sure to follow Black NFT art on Twitter, and another group that stemmed out of that was African NFT Club. African NFT Club that's their handle, but it's African NFT Community. Both of those groups changed the internet for me because, like Logic, you were just saying before how you're like, I'm jumping back into Twitter, I'm seeing the value, and I had my handle for years. I think it tells you somewhere, like, I've been for years, but I wasn't using it. And when I jump on, or when I jump into NFT spaces, which I still go into just blended and different places, but when you see these rooms, they're going to be comfortable for our people. And like I'm saying, that's how I found Meta Knights. And Meta Knights to me is like, yo, this is the type of storytelling. What I actually see, it's Meta Knights, right? The company, the parent company, Dele?
Yeah, so it's Metaia Media.
Metaia Media,
yeah.
Okay. I see this, as well as Afro Droids. There are other examples that I'm not thinking right now, but I see them as these are the potential founding phases of what proper Black media is going to be.
Absolutely.
Right? So yeah, follow those two. But now, in terms of and lastly, go to mintbase.io and type in Symbolic. That's me. SYMBOLK. And make sure to follow me. And when you go there, look up. You'll see the stuff that I've minted on the hip hop meets 360 virtual reality tip. It's on another blockchain, and I did want to ask you, Dele, about some of that blockchain stuff. But first, what should my brother Mandalorian do to get his hands on Meta Knights and his crew, his trader crew?
Totally. So first thing, you should really go to our Discord, and I believe there's a link in my profile here. So you can, there's a Discord link in my profile.
Right.
So definitely join that, and get your MetaMask sorted out, and you'll be all the updates about what's happening with the drop there. There's a lot of information about the project in Discord. It's really fun. Our Discord is, we're, the project, as I don't know if I got dropped off before, but we're the world's first crypto comic. We kind of pioneered that genre, and as Symbolic was...
Hot mic. All right.
Yeah, someone's got a hot mic there. Also, I think I completely agree with you, Symbolic. There's a new type of media that's coming, and we call that crypto media. We've got a bunch of innovations in that space that we think are going to be game-changing, and I agree. I think this is game-changing for our community writ large and our culture writ large. And I think also I do have to say, what Symbolic and Logic are doing in this space is just phenomenal. They're real cultural warriors. And so I love this, it's a community, and there's a massive, we are a massive community already, but we're just starting and as a community and collective. So very exciting in that regards. And, without trying to, without belittling any other projects out there, we're friends with everyone. Afrodroids is phenomenal. It's amazing what Owa has been able to achieve with that. He's been a great not a formal advisor, but mentor, and just talking with us, with our team, on how to make sure our drops are successful. Concrete Park, similarly as well, great relationship with Tony and his team in many regards. But, I do think that, Meta Knights is we're in it for the long haul. And I think that what we're doing, firstly, when you see the art that Tayo and Chantel and Nez have done, taking one of the characters from our story, the Emissary, I don't think we've seen anything in the crypto space like this. And, the fact that there's this rich lore that's just so well advanced of anything out there. We've got 13 episodes that are fully developed. We've got motion comics that we've got 4 motion comics that are already done. We'll have all 13 episodes as motion comics by the end of the year. We got a video game that is in advanced stages as well. And we've got this whole training and education program. We've got this Order of Metaye, which is like where, for us, we call it a social complex. And this is it's a new type of community that meshes the physical world with the metaverse and with the mental space, the mental territory as well. So really exciting stuff. I think, we're doing 10 NFT drops. Starting the first one will be in very soon, in the next few days. That's the first of 10. The next few days we'll be opening it up to our already pre-sale list, if you will, and then opening it publicly shortly thereafter. So I think that, and one thing that we've been clear about from the outset is that our NFTs are going to be valuable because of the art that they are themselves, and because of the connection of the art with the story. But also we're using them as gateways to deliver a bunch of utilities around data sovereignty, data ownership, crypto independence, crypto activation, as we call it, in our ecosystem. So yeah, do please come join in, and you know, we definitely see ourselves becoming more deeply intertwined with all the other great projects that are in our community, and that's what Meta Knights is trying to be. It's trying to be to be a place where we all rise together, and where there's more connectivity between all of what we're doing in a way that builds value for everyone.
Right. And just to situate, you know, Meta Knights. So, and the other projects. By the way, I put them in I pinned them up top, so you swipe through and see some cool tweets that you know, show stuff about these projects. So Concrete Park is dope because it is a Black created graphic novel. That's the word I'm looking for, and it has just a range of representation in terms of humanity, and then the drop is exactly that as well. There's still Concrete Park NFTs available. They're dropped through Curio, so that's a different store, different marketplace. And then Afrodroids was an amazing drop. Funds went from Afrodroids, or the Afrodroids drop. Funds went to young ladies in an orphanage that takes care of young ladies. We got to engage with the woman who runs the organization, and it's slipping me the name of it. But if you go to Afrodroids, you'll see their relationship goes on, and it also goes on in terms of the community. So yeah, a lot of these the discords will be a place where you can engage with people and so forth, and theirs is very vibrant. I'm sure that Meta Knights will be an absolutely engaging community. And I really think when people ask me, you know, you always, what's an NFT? And you think about it, there are all these technical ways of looking at it. And I've landed on NFTs really represent community and the support. So, you know, you can have that, the currency and that side of it, but really the community, like showing love, even if it's just following, retweeting, letting people know what's up. And so, yeah, to carve our space in that is super important. So yes, cycle through some of those pinned tweets at the top. I want to ask you, do you put any thoughts into the other? Actually, I want to shout out JWise quick fast. Yo, how you doing, bro? Are you able to say a word? Say what up?
Hey, good afternoon, good night. How you doing?
Greetings. Yeah, man. I don't know if questions that you might want to ask.
I think I'll just listen some more for now. You know what I mean? I'm learning a lot. I'm taking a lot in. Meta Knights is definitely kind of pioneering a space that I think a lot of us are interested in. So right now I'm just taking in the knowledge, and maybe towards the end I'll have more questions.
All good. And I always there we go. I always say JWise because I remember Jelani JWise, like, yo, foundational times, Toronto Canadian classic hip hop. Foundational, I mean, from then till now, like eternally, as long as you're breathing. But I always forget to just make sure that I big up. He's a published author, so that's a thing. And I just see how I really see. You know what I'm thinking about is the fact that we grew up not seeing representations of ourselves, and then we see from these little comics, for example, we used to you know, play or read and so forth, and then they expand, and now we have entire universes around them. And that's what I was getting at in terms of the work that you're doing. And I'd say the same thing goes with Concrete Park, because it was originally an IP. And then, like, I can't wait to see the video games, which you're working on right now already, so that's exciting, or the movies, or, you know, the whatever we would call a Disneyland, for example. So yeah, that's one thing that I'm really that's what I was alluding to, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I just want to jump on real quick and big up the brother Jay Wise, man, because a lot of people don't know like that's like my OG right there. You know what I mean? Like that, like put me on, brought me to like my first like studio to record music and tap into this whole like creative space. So like a lot of the things that people see with like Stolen from Africa and being community driven, you know, really begins with people like Jay Wise, at least in my life, you know, who really saw potential in me as a young guy in high school coming up and just like, you know, giving me that platform, you know what I mean? So I always got to big up the brother. And he's just an incredible, like, you know, creative artist in his own right and community leader, you know, on many capacities. So brother, you're definitely in the right space. And, you know, myself, like I'm, you know, just getting tapped into this whole like digital NFT space. And to me, this is so hip hop because like this is what hip hop is all about. You know, like they close doors on us and we, you know, become innovative and we create things like the barriers that were created, like actually, you know, spark like movements. So that's kind of like how I see what's going on here and me just getting, you know, tapped into like the metaverse and everything that's going on. You know, it's really, really intriguing. And I'm excited about like the potential and how we're creating like community organically. Like this is what we do. And it's so beautiful because it's an international community. You know, like we got people like all over, man. So it's beautiful. I'm loving the vibe.
Appreciate you, brothers.
Yeah, man. So everyone, please follow everyone so we can, and you know, we're gonna be here every Thursday. We're gonna be, you know, building on these topics and celebrating, you know, the great work that is taking place. You know, and we're a global community at this point. You know, we could have had people from UK, we could have people from Zimbabwe. They're all in the contacts. It's just aligning, and then you know, regardless of when we link up, we're letting people know, for example, about Meta Knights, about you know, in fact, we should go both ways. I guess I'm thinking a lot when I'm on these spaces about the digital, the stuff we can access online. But you know, now that I'm thinking about it, it should be the same mirror. Like, yo, Jay Wise, can you tell us the name of your book?
Yeah, give thanks. My book is called Where Eagles Crawl and Men Fly. The ebook is available pretty much on all the regular platforms. But yeah, other than that, I'm really interested in. I think what Meta Knights is doing is really creating a space for a lot of us who have envisioned bringing our works to other media and you know, watching. You know, I just got plugged into Meta Knights probably about 2 weeks ago through You Symbolic, and just loving what's going on and really just taking it in and trying to learn and understand. I'm very new to the whole crypto, you know, NFTs, crypto coin, all that stuff is new to me. I'm just learning about it, but already I see the possibilities in terms of translating. I write fantasy novels, and that's what my novel is a black fantasy / sci-fi. And so, you know, the space becomes very exciting to me to be able to see other platforms.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And on the one thing I did want to just quickly jump in and say, I love the international community, and I'm really stoked, you know, with particularly with Symbolic and Logic being connected to the Black Toronto crypto community. You know, Toronto, one of our, and you were going to ask me something earlier about other chains and other approaches, and I will say Meta Knights is underpinned by our sister company MetaMe, which is like a pure tech company. It's like data sovereignty, data ownership. And one of our earliest investors was out of Toronto. We spent a fair amount of time in Toronto, and I love the scene out there anyway, but I haven't had a chance to connect with the Black crypto community in Toronto until now. And I'm just really excited about that and what that's going to mean and what we're going to be able to do in that space as well. So I wanted to definitely put that out there. You guys are doing some big things out there.
Yo, much appreciated. You know what, we're looking at building it, and that makes it's a decent time to mention. You know, there's a concept in my mind, and what it is, it's tentatively named Black Love DAO, and I really want to focus on onboarding, but doing it. What happened was I got introduced into the Near blockchain. Near is worth checking out because it's a newer blockchain. You know, the OpenSea of Near is mint based, and and I was introduced into a guild, and the guilds have a relationship with the developers, and so I was introduced into the music guild, and so the thing was, I didn't know if I was going to be all alone out there. So I was like, oh man, am I going to be in a place looking at all Pepe memes and apes and stuff? And, and I'm like, I don't know how many people are laughing at me when they're saying apes. But it turned out to be a very welcoming space. And I, in fact, met Dede, who is in Nigeria, or people from across the map who are in this, you know, emerging space. But when I was new, this thought came to my mind, and in fact, it was in Tayo's group that the name came about, because she likes to play a game when she's in her rooms. That was, what would be your the name of your money or whatever, and what would the utility? And I was like, yo, what would be really dope would be to have a to incentivize. This is also due to how hip hop, I feel like it got hijacked, and young people are incentivized to create this story and narratives that are self-destructive. And, you know, so I thought, what if we incentivize positive music, positive creative work? And so that's where Black Love DAO came to mind when I was in that group with Tayo. And, well, not DAO, but it was like Black Love. And then I realized, learn more about DAOs, which we'll talk about another day. But have a mechanism where we say, okay, do a creative work that speaks to the relationship with human beings and nature. Speak to the male-female balance. Speak to whatever the things that we want to, you know, incentivize the type of music we want to see, instead of what they're clearly willing to give young people, you know, money to promote that and to make us look certain ways. Anyhow, so then when I was moving into this guild, I was thinking, man, am I going to be the only black person? I said, you know, what would be the dopest thing is to just onboard and to do it, to be able to move en masse, so that when there is potentially an offense in the future, we're crewed up. We're like rolling in a squad that if we're like, nah, that's not cool, you can't just be gaslit. You can't be like, oh, that's nothing. Anyways, so that said, that long rant, I'll go back to the question around chains, blockchains. I don't know if Logic or Mandalorian, or, you know, do you guys have a knowledge, or what's your understanding of what the blockchain is?
Oh man, I can't. Okay, so from my understanding, it's like this, like ledger, and the blockchain is to like decentralize. Man, I'm not even gonna try to explain it, man. It's all like mumbo jumbo in my brain.
No, you're doing good. You're doing good.
Okay. So it's like, yeah, it's like a decentralized like space, which essentially gives you know, more power to like the individuals. So if something's put on the blockchain, there's like what do you call it? Like there's like, I guess like a paper trail essentially, you know. So you can like, you know, trace like the you know, like the origin, and it just kind of it kind of sounds like it's almost like a copyright or a trademark in a way, if I'm mistaken, or something along those lines. But I guess I'll leave it to the experts, man, to break it down for us.
Okay. Okay. So I want to ask Dele, if you could you know, give your I would say expert, not definition, but how you understand the blockchain. But one thing I just will put out there is, it's really tempting. The moment I realized that I shouldn't think about whether it's near the mint base, the near protocol token, or Ethereum or other, at least outside of Bitcoin, it's not to be thought of as a currency. It's really, that's how I thought of it, and it's really tempting to do so. But it's really something that allows for the system to run. So, Deadly, maybe you could shed some light for us.
Yeah, I look. I think that the cryptocurrency is it's like a use case of blockchain technology, and it's a very important one because it's about money and it's really about disrupting the whole financial order of the day. But you know, cryptocurrency is a use case. NFTs are a use case. Information is another use case. So there are many. But essentially, what in really simple terms, what the blockchain is a record system. It's a system for keeping records on things that have happened. Technically, you'd call those transactions, but it's a record of transactions that have happened that is decentralized. Now, the key thing there is that because it is decentralized means that it's not controlled by any person. And the power of it is that when something is written to the blockchain, it's very difficult at this stage, depending on the chain, almost impossible to reverse that. So it becomes this very reliable record of events that have happened. And with Bitcoin, which was the first one, what it was able to do was to have this reliable record of transactions around transfer or buying or selling of Bitcoin. Now, the thing that makes it really important from being decentralized is that it's not reliant on a third party to prove that. So like I hate to bring in all the financial models, but that's kind of where it all started, right? And so the first analogy is that if I was to send $100 to Symbolic through the financial system now, then there is a central ledger that makes sure when the $100 leaves my account and it goes to Symbolic's account, that transaction is settled, meaning that when it's authorized, it makes sure that the $100 leaves my account and arrives in Symbolic's account. And it's important that there isn't a double spend. It's important that that money is debited from my account and that it's credited to Symbolic's account. And the only way we've been able to do this prior to the blockchain is to have a central authority that becomes the keeper, the gatekeeper of all of those transactions to make sure that there's no double spending. But with the blockchain, where it becomes really powerful is that you no longer need this centralized entity, and anyone can put a transaction on the blockchain. And once that transaction is vetted by the network, then it can't be reversed. So that's the kind of fundamental of it, and which Bitcoin established. And then there are various different versions that have particular qualities or traits that make them attractive or powerful or interesting for different types of transactions. But I think the next major evolution that came was the birth of Ethereum, because what Ethereum did was take that basic principle, that underlying capability, and then introduced programmability. So the ability to write programs that could be immutable. And this is what we essentially call smart contracts. And that's changed the game, because that now means that we now have this platform where we can issue commands and codes, and we don't have to rely on a third party to enforce them. We can just rely on the network to enforce them. And this opens up a whole new wave of possibilities. So in summary, that's kind of the most simplistic definition of the blockchain I think I can conjure.
I think that was a great description. JY?
Yeah, that was actually really lucid and clear, man. Look, I have a question about smart contracts, and I don't know how much this is your thing, but my question is, when you're building your smart contracts, are you using lawyers still, or is it just programmers?
Yeah, it's a good question. So it can be both. So fundamentally, smart contracts are technical code. So they're programs that are written. But there is a big movement for what's called Ricardian contracts, which is basically where you have legal code or legal phrases that are then matched with technology to execute them. So the capability is there to do that. Smart contracts, in strict senses, are technical code, like rules. If this happens, then do that in a way that can't be changed. But where the trend is towards moving is to write smart contracts that include legal um, commitments as part of the technical code.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and that's a whole side that I'm just starting to learn, and not really. I'm just aware of. So I really appreciate that, and also appreciate your being here. We're getting close to the hour mark, so we want to make sure that that you'll come back and bless us again. So we're not going to take your time for granted. Thank you so much. But does anyone? I'm not sure. Oh, I can't see properly. Defund was defund the feds was brought up on stage. Just wanted to shout you out, see how you're doing.
Real quick, man. Oh, sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just want to shout out King Mizzo, man, who just joined us as well, and he's someone. He's someone who's been wreally pioneering this whole NFT space. But go ahead, please, the other person that you offered to speak.
Yeah, Defund, you in the building?
Yeah, can you guys hear me well?
Loud and clear. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually in a noisy background. I'm actually in the train station, but overall, I'm just happy to be here, happy to learn, and also I'm just glad to see Dele with you that your crowdfund's still going on. Ironically, I actually learned about the crowdfund right before I even found out what an NFT was. But I just want to say I'm definitely going to be investing in the crowdfund tonight. And I guess really my question is, really a lot of times we hear about smart contracts, but I just want to hear from all the speakers and the hosts in the room, really what benefit will that bring to not only the artist community, but just Web 3.0 in the future?
I'm happy to take a first stab at that. So let's start with the art community. So I think symbolic when you said NFTs are community, I would agree 100%. I would add another element to that is NFTs are a way of capturing community, but they're also a way of capturing culture. And this is the real this is a massive change, like hip hop, in terms of the revolutionary potential of NFTs to become these vessels or means through which we can trade and transact culture starts to become. That's what we're at the really early stages of with the NFT art movement. What NFTs and smart contracts for art are, there's so many really dramatic things. But I think one of the most important things is that they allow artists to get paid for their work in a way that we've never had before. And one of the beautiful things about smart contracts is that they're permanent, right? So when you think about things like royalties and payments, so this is again something that is only really happens in the crypto space. If you're an artist and you create a piece of work and you sell that piece of work for, let's talk in fiat just to keep it simple, for $500. And then over the course of time, that art piece becomes really valuable. Your career blows up, and let's say it's worth $50,000, like 4 years down the road. When you mint that art piece to the blockchain and you have a smart contract around it, this is very standard practice now. You can have a clause in that contract that says, anytime this art piece is sold in the future, I, as the artist, I'm entitled to 10, 15, whatever percentage you want. You have to kind of do what's fair, but you can program it to anything effectively. So what happens now in the world before, when you sold your art piece as an artist for $500, you were happy, you got $500 for your piece of art. But if I bought that as a collector and held on to it for 3 years and then sold it down the road for 50,000, your reputation increases, but you don't get any financial benefit from that. With smart contracts, on the other hand, when that is sold for 50%, if your royalty is 10%, then $5,000 comes to you. And the powerful thing about this is that because it's decentralized, there's no need for any middle person. At the time when someone is paying that 50K for that art, that 10K automatically goes into your wallet. And that happens forever. So that means if I sell that art piece for $50,000 and 20 years down the road, it's worth $500,000, the same 10% goes to your wallet. And now let me put another dimension onto it, because this is something that we're getting very excited about in the community when we talk about intergenerational wealth. Well, you can actually now put the rights to those royalties. You can write another smart contract and say, I want to gift those royalties to my grandchildren. And those grandchildren will have their wallets. And anytime that transaction happens in the future, that money will go automatically to them. So very, very powerful in terms of and that's just one use case from just royalty payments for artists in the community. It's given artists a way to be able to make money from digital art and to make that money on a continuous ongoing basis. So that's one use case. I want to talk very quickly about another use case, which is very central to us at MetaMe. And this is the kind of utilities that we're focused on. And we started this room talking a little bit about Facebook and or whatnot. Long story short, we're a three-headed organization. We've got Metaya Media, which does content and our sci-fi lore and crypto comics. We've got MetaMe, which builds technology and applications and this framework for managing data. And then underpinning all of that, we have an organization called the Internet Foundation, which is a non-profit NGO. And the Internet Foundation has been focused for over 10 years now on digital human rights. And what we have codified, we've set up a set of rules of digital human rights, and we've set up a set of rules around ethical data usage by companies. And so what we're building out with MetaMe and with the Internet Foundation is a framework whereby our rights as citizens, as global citizens, can be coded into smart contracts so that when we share information and when we share any data about ourselves, those rules have to be observed. They're automatically enforced by these smart contracts. So this is really revolutionary, and its potential to change the world and to give us the inalienable rights that we are entitled to as humans, as citizens, is really cannot be overstated. So I hope those give two good examples of the kind of things that smart contracts can be used to do.
Well, I just want to dig in for a moment, and I'm mindful of your time, but when it comes to the latter, I don't fully understand the human rights coded into this contract, and then they must be adhered to. How does that work, like in a practical sense? I mean, it's code, right? How does it work?
So one very relevant example is the right to privacy is a human right. And this is actually defined by the UN and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So one of the things that we have done with our protocol is that we've developed a framework whereby if I share information with you, let me make it a little bit more relevant. If I share information with a company, trying to think, Amazon. Let's say I share information with Amazon, and there's a way to go to get this because Amazon would have to be compliant. But let's, for example, say that there was a blockchain-enabled organization like Amazon, although it doesn't have to be a blockchain organization as well, because we can write this so that the blockchain can live side by side with the traditional web. But effectively, if I share information with a third party like Amazon, I can encode into that information a smart contract that says you can only use this information for these specific uses, and anything outside of those uses is prohibited by the smart contract. So and it's a bit more complicated in terms of how this is executed, but effectively I can make it so that my information is only used in the way to which I consent and allow it to be used by enforcing smart contracts that prohibit any third party from using that data in any other way.
Wow, that's incredible. So that's the future of the technology, or potential future, the future you'd like to see.
Absolutely.
Incredible. I just want to, we're going to close up really soon, but definitely want to say what up, King Miz. How you doing, man?
Yo, I'm good, brother. I'm good, man. This is dope. I'm excited to see SFA on here, and I love the fact that I'm watching. Is this the second one you guys did?
Yeah. This is
dope.
Weekly,
I love it, man. I love to see that community here, man. And yeah, yo, I'm gonna strive to join in earlier on the next conversation so I can catch up what everyone's saying. But I love what I was hearing. You know, for me, I guess one of the most important, empowering parts of this space is there's many sides to it, but to me, I would say the ledger. You know, where history cannot be deleted this time. History cannot be rewritten this time. Whatever is on the ledger is on the ledger. I can personally, like, for example, when I stepped into space 2 years ago, I was brought into space by a brother named Vandal, you know, but when I stepped into the space, I had a different community approach and a different, you know, I came in with tourist eyes, and I saw the potential of the space being freedom, financial freedom, wealth, creating generational wealth for people and communities, and the ledger being a very important part of not deleting history. And so seeing the space, like, for example, today there's like OG artists, an event for OG artists, you know, and there's a lot of OG artists that have been left behind from the space. And the reason a lot of artists have been left behind are the ones that have been speaking up against racism in the space. Racism exists off the blockchain, so it definitely exists on the blockchain. And it's a little more dangerous on the blockchain because you can't see people's faces, you know, and people with money. The only thing in this space is things I'd love to see changed is the DAO and the way the DAO works, because often the person with more financial power is the one who has a louder voice in the DAO, which means it's no different than the real world, the physical world. And these are things that I think we're going to change through time as the more people adopt the space and start building on it, and we have stronger communities just like SFA's building. But for me, the main thing is the ledger. And people at this moment might try to keep people out of history due to fear of speaking up against racism, bothering the wrong person with financial power who is condoning racism through silence. But that's the beautiful thing about the space, the ledger. History cannot be deleted. Once people understand that there is a ledger, what the ledger is, and how to look at the ledger, we will always be able to maintain the true and honest history within the blockchain. And that's what I'm really excited for too. So I love the concept of, I guess, your digital human rights. That's a dope concept, and I'm going to look into that a bit more. But I love what everyone's doing, man.
Yo, I'm glad you mentioned the DAO. I joined my first DAO again on the Near blockchain, and I want definitely, Dele, I want to hear what you have to say about what King Miz mentioned. But I just wanted to say that in the process of going through setting up the DAO, what I noticed is there's no consensus in terms of a means of I don't know how that would work, but I'm used to, like, I've been made aware it's a traditional African and indigenous way to come to decisions, and it can take longer, but it is a consensus where that everyone has, it's built in that everyone has been heard, and then you decide together. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because I did notice that, and I'm like, that's interesting. What do you do about that? But Dele, do you have any thoughts about what Ms. was mentioning?
Yeah, no, yeah, so many, God. But let's just start on the DAO very quickly first. Yeah, I think a DAO is basically a decentralized autonomous organization, which means it becomes like the vision that I think was originally put forward with the DAO, with Ethereum created the first DAO, was that you don't need companies anymore because you can have this decentralized organization that you can encode with rules on how it operates, and then you can just basically put it on the chain and it will abide by those rules forevermore. And I say that because it's important to understand that a DAO can be any kind of organization, and you can code it with any set of rules. So there are that many DAOs out there at the moment. Some of them are better than others, but all of those rules that we can put into the DAO are for us to design. There is no rule on what the rules should be, but social pressure will drive the changes around that. And this, I believe, is this is something we tackle in Meta Knights a lot, because I do think that DAOs are going to be so revolutionary. I mean, when blockchain and crypto started, part of it is a threat to the concept of a nation state. And that's really, when you kind of dig deep into this space, you'll see that there's a lot of work that's already being done on big social organizations at the state level that could be a potential future for DAOs. So I think don't be frustrated with the limitations of current DAOs. Just think about the capability and get involved in designing DAOs that represent the world that we want to see, the kind of egalitarian and equitable societies that we want. That's all there. The tech is there for us to make. So the last thing I'll say, and I hate hogging the mic on these things. I know everyone's got important viewpoints to share on this as well. So I'll try and be mindful of that. But
Sam, if I could just say, we need this. So thank you so much. We don't want to take up too much of your time, but thank you so much. Please continue.
Yeah, the point that you make about the ledger is so important. And for me personally, and this is something that I've come to be able to articulate more clearly now, and now it's very clear to me, the importance of this technology specifically for us as Black people is on another level compared to other societies and other cultures and other ethnicities. And that's because so much of our history is constantly being erased. It's constantly being misappropriated. It's constantly being hijacked. It's constantly being eroded and erased. And this changes that dramatically. And so I think you're absolutely right. The ability of this ledger to become a source of truth, an undeniable source of truth in terms of what happened and how it happened and who did it, is essential. I will tell you, we're the world's first crypto comic, and we have been challenged about that by other people, some bullshit, nonsensical challenges. But the point is that we can point to the ledger and we can show the receipts that, no, we minted the first crypto comic in 2019. And here is the block receipt, and that block receipt can never be removed. So that's the kind of power that this accords us on an individual basis, but as a culture, as a big culture writ large, this is the beginning of how we start to be able to put our lines in the sand today on our contributions to culture, our contributions to society in a way that will never be able to be eradicated or eliminated. So I'm 100% with you on the importance of that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. You know, before we wrap up, Logic, I don't know if you have any words you want to say. I do want you to talk and say some. I want Dele to say one more little thing that I'm going to ask about Meta Knights. But first, Logic, you.
Yeah, no. I'm definitely loving these conversations, and you know, it's really empowering, man. Big up to everyone who's coming through. Shout out King Mizzo, man. That's like OG, you know, SFA fam, and you know, he's someone who's been talking about like this digital space for like a while now, you know. So I'm really glad for him to be here and continue to like build these like digital spaces. You know, it's just like I was going to say, like, yeah, like there's just so much to like wrap my head around, and like I've been like making notes, and I feel like, you know, moving forward we can have like each week like a specific like topic that we just like really build on, you know, because like King Mizzle brought up like a really important aspect of like the racism, you know, that happens in these spaces, and I think the more we discuss that, the more we can like really mobilize and have like proactive ways of moving forward within that. So that's just kind of like my thing, like that I'm reflecting on right now. But there's a lot. This is really exciting to me. Like the digital space is pure hip hop to me. You know, like this is what we do. Like we create something out of nothing, and it's an opportunity for us to build. And that's one of the reasons why I like having these sessions like an hour. So it's just like a lot of information, because these conversations can really go on for like 3-4 hours, no doubt. You know, so here we really want to try to keep it like clear and concise and just keep coming back and adding on. And then also I want to say that if anybody else has other spaces that you're creating, please let us know, because this is how we build our virtual community. You know, so if there's like another platform that you guys are on, let us know. If there's any movements, let like, you know, tag me in it. I'll retweet or repost. Like it ain't nothing. And I think for me, like that's like an easy way of showing community and just like building. Like, you know, it's real easy. You know, so let's continue to support each other.
And that really goes far. So on that, like, please, everyone, give a follow to everyone who's hanging out with us in this intimate space. And I don't know, Dele, for what do we do to support? Maybe we'll close it on that. So before that, I want to ask, does anyone else want to have a word? You know, anything going on you want to let us know about, or?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if any of y'all are. Well, I'm pretty sure you are familiar, but if none of y'all trade, I definitely send my link out too as well. Like I'm on Discord and Telegram as well. Like I'll let you into one of my chats and show you how we do our forex. You know, what I'm saying, if anybody interested in learning how to trade.
Yo, respect for that. Did you say you pinned a tweet?
Say that one more time.
Did you say you pinned something on the top, or how do we find?
Oh yeah. It's gonna be I guess I'm gonna send the link out to everybody because right now I'm at work, so it's kind of hard for me to like move around. But like yeah, if anybody want to learn how to trade forex, you know what I'm saying? That's what I do.
Okay. Yo, I've definitely, you got my interest. And so, yo, make sure you give a follow. I'm following you right now, and we can definitely build more on that. So connect with everyone, and I know very little, but I would love to learn more.
Okay, most definitely. I got everybody.
All right, beautiful. D-Fun, do you want to say a word at all?
No, I'm just happy to be here, happy to learn, just happy to be rocking with y'all. Thank you so much for your time.
Respect, mad love. Jay Wise, unknown.
Yo, I'll drop something still. Yo, I'm so excited that SFA is here. And I want everybody in the chat to know one thing, because this is something I have to make transparent only when the time's right. When I'm defending African people being under attack due to their race, I don't need to tell anyone what my background is. I just need to be there to defend it. And that's what I do. And I often get blacklisted for it. And then I move past that list and we build our own list and we keep moving because that's what we do. It's very easy. Creators create, takers take. Creators keep creating. Takers can't take when there's nothing left to take. You know,
Facts.
their road ends. Our road continues because we build the roads. And the thing is, I've been representing SFA in the beginning because I'm a brown man from India. I have Dravidian roots probably by the way I study it. But I don't know. But regardless of what it is, I understand the roots of all this. And for us to get free, African folks and indigenous folks across the planet need to find equality. You know what I mean? And past equality at this point, empowerment and power, because the opposite isn't happening for too long. So equilibrium and equality is just not enough. We need more. And I'm here to stand beside my people and fight for it and be a loud voice when I need to be. So you can always count on me. But I wanted to make it very transparent to the community from the beginning about myself. You know what I mean?
Yo, mad love, bro. Yo, you've been in the rebel music, rebel movement. We're talking about decades and decades. Much love to you.
Word up, man. Okay, man. Well, I guess we're gonna, end our session for today. You know what I mean? Like we're here every third. I was gonna say Wednesdays. Every Thursday, 3:30 till 4:30 ish. We'll see how it goes. But yo, man, big up to everyone for contributing and bringing on the positive vibes. Like I just love like community, man. It just fuels me and it gives me like a lot of hope. Oftentimes with what's happening around the world, like there's so much like negativity and things that we can focus on that just drain us and get us depressed and whatnot. And these are the spaces, man, that I tap into for like motivation, inspiration, and empowerment. So big up to everyone for the contributions, and I'm looking forward to seeing the possibilities and opportunities of these conversations. You know what I mean? Like moving forward, man. So everybody like brings something to the table. Even if you're just listening, like we're all equal in that aspect. So we appreciate your time and energy.
Yeah, and before we go, if you could just, what do we need to do to support? Where do we need to go? And just any last words you'd like to say, please.
Totally. I love that, we're a community-led project. We've run a crowdfunding campaign on Start Engine, which is coming to a close. I think there's a week left on it. And we've been totally funded by the community. We offer a unique opportunity to own part of the company, not just be a consumer, but to own part of the company. So if you can support us financially by investing in Mataya Media, you'll find the link, but you can go to metanites.com and that will take you to our Start Engine page. And you can invest from $100. We've been very important for us. We've got what is probably the largest participation in a Reg CF campaign. We have over 3,500 investors, and that's been important to us because we wanted to make sure it was inclusive. So we kept the barrier to entry very low, $100. You can own shares in Mataya Media. So if you want to do that, please do. You don't have to. You can support us by joining our Discord, following us on Twitter, tweeting out about the project, getting awareness about it out to the community too. We're going to be introducing a participate to earn model in the future as well. So even if you're not spending money with us, by spending time, you'll be able to earn benefits and earn rewards, and that can be translated into financial value within our community. And then, of course, the last piece would be our big NFT, our inaugural NFT, generative art NFT drop. If you follow us on Discord, the link is in my Twitter here, and you can just follow that and join us on Discord. And definitely owning one of our emissary NFTs is going to unlock a huge amount of not only value, but utility and freedom utilities, both financial and digital and mental kind of utility tools that we're going to be introducing. So all of the above, any of the above work, but even just being here and, again, to logic and symbolic, giving us this platform to talk to our community. I can't tell you how appreciative we are of that. That is huge support in and of itself. So just come join us, be with us, and let's go get this.
Yeah. So, yo, please tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, this is a media company that you can buy into, and that is putting out those things we need to be thinking about, teaching us, and also acting through the foundation. So yeah, make sure to spread the word, and also spread the word that we are here on Thursdays, and we're building. So enough love. Logic, you have any last words?
No, but
Logic.
that's pretty much that, man. Except for we're also on Instagram on Mondays. Myself and Symbolic have a weekly check-in called You Good Fam. So that's on SFA_community Instagram account, and we have great discussions. And then on Tuesdays, man, we're on like Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube for the Reminisce Show. The links are like on this Twitter account as well. So that's Tuesdays 7 p.m. And on the Reminisce Show, we just kind of like carry the traditions of Sankofa, but with music and history and culture. Because like when it comes to Toronto history, there's a lot that people don't really know about. So we always got to make sure that we remember the foundation so that we know where we're going, right? So that's what's up.
And big up Mindbender. You do that, the Reminisce Show. I'm usually in the audience and sending messages
absolutely.
in, but holding it down with Mindbender. Enough love for that work. All right, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for rocking with us.
Man. Peace.
Peace.